Federation 1 log, stardate 72527.4, Commodore Patrick von Weiler recording. We are carrying several dignitaries and this vessel's new commanding officer to Earth for the inauguration of the new President of the United Federation of Planets. After 15 years, this is my final mission as commander of this ship. I am very proud indeed to have served during 4 administrations, and while this may not be the biggest or the most elegant in the fleet, I feel it is certainly the best. The best because of the many people that have served aboard her and given so freely of themselves. It is to them that I give my highest commendation and admiration.
Sir, the Romulan delegation has beamed aboard.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. Prepare to depart Unity Sector.
Aye, sir. I'll bet she really used to be something.
Lieutenant?
Unity Station, sir. Before the Romulans took it over.
It certainly was an era of cooperation between the Federation and the Romulans. It's amazing what time can do. After the modifications were discovered, everything changed.
But sir, it was the deflector modifications that enabled us to discover the isolytic weapons being sold by the Sona.
And the eventual outing of the rogue agents that conspired to kill President Saffron.
A trail of corruption leading right up to the office of the...
Are you giving me a history lesson, Lieutenant?
I was just reminiscing, sir.
You must have barely been a cadet then.
It was only 11 years ago, sir. Captain on the bridge.
I guess it might take some time to get used to hearing that.
Hidden Frontier Productions presents Federation 1, starring Wayne Webb as Matt McCabe, Rebecca Wood as President Vindenpawl, Jacques Fredont as Cart, Aaron Leddick as Tam Ency, Barbara Clifford as Margaret McGowan, David O'Neill as Admiral Seelick, and Heather Ashleigh as Mara Onshul. Episode 204, Analepsis. Written and directed by Andrew Foster.
I hope you found your new quarters in order, Captain McCabe.
Everything is fine, Commodore.
We should rendezvous with your wife's ship tomorrow morning.
Good. Thank you. Now don't let me interrupt your discussion.
Oh, it was nothing, sir. We were just talking about the investigation into President Saffron's death 11 years ago.
Nothing like a little nostalgia. Being back here on Federation 1 makes it seem like it was just yesterday in some ways.
Captain, the Vrijheid President would like to meet with you. He's in the lounge, sir.
Thank you. McCabe out. Well, there's a conversation I was waiting for.
Shall I say you're not available, Captain?
It's okay, Lieutenant. I'm sure we'll still have plenty of time to talk about the good old days. Commodore?
President Karah, I'm honored.
Captain McCabe, the honor is mine.
What can I do for you, Mr. President?
Of course you know my aide, Dorian Onshul.
Of course. It's been a while. How are you, Dorian?
Good, good. It's nice to see you again, Matt. I mean, Captain.
Matt is fine.
Mr. Onshul was just reminding me of how much you had to do with me attaining my current position.
If you're referring to my accusations, sir, that was a long time ago, and...
I'm not. Your diligence in bringing those that were truly guilty to trial led to my exoneration.
So, it is your testimony that you knew nothing of the day-to-day operations at Haytosh Cover, a company that you yourself, an expert in the security industry, founded,
That is correct, Mr. Sharp.
Intelligence reports clearly indicated that it was you who authorized transactions involving the movement of both material and information that ultimately led to the assassination of President Saffron.
As I said before, those reports must have been forged. I have had no direct involvement in Hitosh cover for 3 years. Colonel Danny Sullivan is in charge of all operations.
Mr. Cart, can you explain why President Vindenpawl demanded your immediate resignation when Commander McCabe revealed that it was your company that was responsible for the transfer of fighter ships and for securing the adaptive virus at Holosoft Computer Industries on Vrijheid?
You know very well that an administration cannot afford to suffer allegations and scandals. I was a necessary sacrifice.
Admiral, if I may add something in Mr. Cart's defense.
Very well, Commander McCabe.
I knew that Colonel Sullivan must have had some involvement when he asked me who tipped me off to the sale of the virus for subspace weapons.
Yet you still identified Secretary Cart as your prime suspect?
To be honest, his name was on the company charter and all over the fighter transfers, everything. But I started to reconsider things after my deputy and I discovered that her brother recognized Colonel Sullivan from his visits to Holosoft Computer Industries.
We have already heard Mr. Onshul's testimony that he was unaware of the nature of what was being stored at his company.
Dorian had no idea he was being sold falsified gaming modules. To him, it was a perfectly legitimate business transaction. When he stored them in his computer's core, he had no way of knowing they contained the adaptive virus. And he had no reason to doubt Colonel Sullivan.
Your Honors, if I may, I was fully prepared to agree to President Vindenpawl's decision to give up my office to Secretary McGowan. I believe in what is right and what will work for the betterment of all, not just in personal profit.
But to give up so easily?
The guilty man protests his guilt. The innocent man need not explain anything. Until you spoke up, I was starting to think that you blamed me for everything, including the destruction of the Lutran homeworld.
We've definitely come a long way.
And there's even further to journey, in so many ways. Is your wife joining us on the trip?
We're meeting up with her en route tomorrow.
Has she decided whether or not she'll be staying aboard the Marcus?
She's taking extended leave from her duties as science officer until after the baby is born. Finally be able to spend some time together again, as a family. For now, if you'll excuse me, I need to meet with Commodore Van Wyler for dinner.
I'll catch up with you later.
Good evening, Captain.
Gentlemen.
Her thoughts are the loudest of anyone I have ever sensed. She even talks in her sleep.
You shared a bed with her?
I meant telepathically. Still, it could be worse. I could be working for your boss.
Tam! How the hell are you?
Commander, Captain McCabe. It's good to see you again.
At ease, mister. Decade. Are you enjoying your new assignment?
Working with the ambassador can be quite tiring. She's a very energetic woman.
So I've heard! Sorry, Doran. As much as I respect you, I still can't figure out why you wanted to work for Cart.
You may still disagree with some of his methods, but he's really been good for Vrijheid.
I'll grant you that. I still can't forget the first time I met him.
He did mention that.
By the way, congratulations on your command, sir.
Thank you. Will you both join me for a drink?
I thought you gave that up after... well...
long ago, Tam. It's Sentinel now.
Why not? Three Rock DeGinos, then?
Sure.
If you'll pardon me, Captain, Things in the past are best left there.
What? Never try to hide anything from a telepath.
You haven't been in this environment for over a decade. It's only normal that you'd be experiencing feelings of nostalgia.
Actually, I was just thinking about Hell's Gate.
You were lucky, sir.
I knew we shouldn't have gone there, but it led to some answers.
And a reprimand from me down.
You may be responsible for presidential security, Mr. McCabe, but you had no right to go to Hell's Gate. The mere fact that you lied about your whereabouts.
It is my duty to do whatever I can to protect the life of the President of the United Federation of Planets, and to bring those who are guilty for President Seafrown's murder to justice.
You may feel that your motives were noble and for the greater good, but associating with a known criminal was not a wise move.
Captain Roberts may be a renegade, but he's not a criminal.
I am not referring to Nicholas Roberts. I am referring to a certain Vulcan traitor named Thotairs.
I would hardly call that associating. He was a vital source of evidence and a viable subject of this interrogation.
But you slipped up, McCabe. You allowed yourself and Captain Roberts to be put in a compromising position.
With all due respect, I can't see how this concerns you.
Anything that reflects badly on this administration concerns me. Luckily for you, he will not be able to implicate you in any wrongdoing.
He's dead. How?
Murdered by a Sona. For a shrewd businessman, he made a fatal error. He got greedy. The Sona do not take kindly to extortion and blackmail.
He was smarter than that. He couldn't have...
It is unfortunate that without adequate evidence, you won't be able to implicate him or his associates in the purchase of the fighters from the Kozan plant.
I didn't say anything about the Kozan plant.
You aren't the only one who talks with people in the intelligence department, Mr. McCabe. And then there's the matter of Faldo Kazar.
What about him?
Your friend's ex-fiancé should not be overlooked. I'd be surprised if he wasn't aware of what was really going on. With his position at the plant, if I was you, I'd be turning a tighter focus on him in this investigation.
Captain?
I'm sorry, Tam. I was...
Reminiscing?
You could call it that, yeah.
Here. You look like you need it.
Thanks. This ship certainly conjures up a lot of memories.
It would seem that there are a few more memories aboard.
Captain McCabe, pleasure to see you again.
Gentlemen! Captain Hunter, congratulations on the peace treaty. That was quite a feat.
All in a day's work.
I can understand your interest in this inauguration, but Captain Hunter?
It's an historic moment. One I never thought would happen in my lifetime. Besides, I'm rather proud I can still fit into my dress uniform.
But sir, you only had that one made.
An historic moment indeed. So where's your wife?
Why is everyone so interested? We rendezvous tomorrow morning. Anyhow, please join us. We were just... reminiscing.
Ah, the good old days.
I think a toast to absent friends would be appropriate.
Captain Hunter, you may wish to finish your beverage.
Ah, you don't mean...
Over there. She's coming over with Fleet Admiral Watkin.
Damn. Can I just go one place without running into that woman? Valerie, delighted to see you again.
You too, Daniel. You're looking well. New uniform.
So, do I still outrank you, Danny?
Only in your dreams, Elizabeth.
Matt?
Admiral.
She still knows how to push your buttons, doesn't she, Daniel? I'll catch up with you later.
Any word on Yeshva, gentlemen?
She does not offer her support for our new president.
It's not surprising. They always seem to be in competition. Anyway, Yeshva's another person I don't need to reminisce about.
You're referring to your mission to Romulus with Commander Sakaris and General Korg?
Yes. The tortured do not always bond with their torturer.
It certainly was a surprise to find that we were both searching for the same person.
A man with two separate identities often needs to hide. Centurion Womack, you must tell me more.
You know enough to start putting all the pieces together. I highly doubt that the Tal Shiar will forgive my betraying them now that my partnership with Thotiris has been exposed. It is not safe for me to remain here anymore. I must make my escape now while I still can, and I would advise you to do the same.
This can't just be about profit. Who else was involved?
Lieutenant, I'm sure you are aware that Romulan torture methods can be exquisitely painful, in addition to being extremely effective. If you were to know the whole story, then they would know.
Captain Hunter and General Korg are on their way here. They need to hear your side of the story. They'll be able to protect you.
That will not be possible. The Tal Shiar will be waiting for them, just as they are waiting for me. Find Darthus. He will have the answers you seek.
The chairman of the Tal Shiar? But he is too visible.
I have told you all I can for now. If I am able, I will make contact with another member of the Federation. He's looking in the right direction. He just needs a little help. Jolan True, Sakaris.
Jolan True, Centurion.
So my contact, Decius, was really Centurion Lormax. Certainly was one of the surprises of the trial.
I'm just amazed he survived long enough to testify. Of course, given his involvement, it really wasn't any surprise that the Senate sentenced him to death.
I still have the flask. You'll have to excuse me, gentlemen. Although I have enjoyed the nostalgia tonight, I think it's time for me to turn in. Busy day tomorrow.
Good night, Captain.
With only 6 days left, preparations continue to be made for next week's historic presidential inauguration. A president that will lead the United Federation of Planets into the 25th century and beyond. A president that represents...
Transporter room to Captain McCabe.
McCabe here.
Captain, we beamed aboard the party from the Marcus. Your wife is on her way to you.
Thank you, Chief. McCabe out.
At last! You're not fat. You're pregnant. You're not fat. You're pregnant.
Matt!
Mara! Oh! So good to see you. You look great.
Oh, come on. I'm as big as a planet.
It looks good.
Well, that sounds better than what you must have rehearsed.
So, was it tough leaving the Marcus?
It was a great assignment, but the time has come for me to be here.
I'm glad you are. I missed you. How's little Matt doing?
You mean little Mara? She is kicking up a storm. Well, it's gonna be a long month.
It was a long day yesterday. Feels like a real trip down memory lane.
Down what?
You know, human expression. It means,
I know, I was teasing you.
Better watch out. The captain could have you put in the brig.
Oh, just try it, Matt. Breakfast?
Sure. What would you like?
No, let's go down to the lounge. I've spent the last 6 months eating in my cabin.
Well,
Let's go then.
I think I'm gonna have one of everything.
Then you really will be as big as a planet.
Hey, isn't that Admiral Seelig?
Ambassador Seelig. He's just accepted a post as Vulcan ambassador to Romulus. Quite the assignment.
Then why doesn't he look happy about it?
When was the last time you saw a happy Vulcan?
Why don't we join him? After all, he did recommend you for this position.
True.
Captain, Mrs. McCabe, it is pleasurable to see you again.
Matt was telling me about your new assignment. It sounds exciting.
The post I now occupy does indeed have its interesting elements. However, I would not necessarily refer to them as exciting.
Regardless, it's a very prestigious and historical posting. Congratulations, Ambassador.
Thank you, Captain. Please, join me.
Ambassador, if you don't mind me asking, with your new posting to Romulus, I can't help but think of your mission to Romulus after Saffron's assassination. It still confuses me.
Mara!
Please, do not be upset, Captain. While some of my actions are part of the public record, there remains some aspect of my mission that are not as well known. Indeed, President Vindenpawl had sent me to Romulus to investigate rumors of illegal weapons construction, which would have had disastrous effects on both the Romulan Star Empire and the Federation itself. I had just completed a meeting with Chairman Darthus when I reported to President Vindenpawl that I had further suspicions.
Your report is indeed a welcome one, Admiral.
Thank you, Madam President. However, before I return to Federation 1, there still remain several matters requiring my urgent attention.
Oh.
I have heard rumors that covert forces within the Romulan leadership are engaged in construction of a new Thalron generators to use in the event of another Arcan invasion.
Admiral, have you relayed these rumors to the Romulan Senate?
I have. They are beginning an investigation into these claims. Quietly, of course.
Admiral, I would like you to remain on Romulus, observe the investigation, and assist if you can. If indeed someone on Romulus is constructing Thalron generators, it would be a direct threat not just to our alliance with the Romulans, but to the Federation itself.
Understood.
I look forward to reviewing your complete report. When can we expect your return?
I would anticipate concluding my investigation within a week. However, since my mission is of a covert nature, I would recommend we continue to assert that I am on Vulcan for medical rest leave.
If a week is not long enough for your illness, take 2. We shall see you upon your return.
Unfortunately, news of my other actions reached Vulcan.
Other actions?
In order to gain certain information, I engaged in a legal mind meld with the chairman of the Tal Shiar. Darthus had information that was vital to the murder investigation.
And that is how you confirm that rogue Tal Shiar agents were conspiring to violate the Thalron ban?
Correct. And that those generators were being assembled on Corvallis, a system secured by the Romulans.
The same place where the Vrijheid fighters were being hidden.
It's amazing how quickly all the pieces fit together after that information came out.
And how quickly I was admonished for my actions. However, as a friend once told me, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Well, right now, I definitely need something to eat. And so does little Mara.
Little Matt. She says it's a girl. I say it's a boy.
Forgive me, Captain, but is your doctor having trouble determining the sex of your child?
We didn't want to know.
fascinating.
The Judge Advocate General's office reports that while former Chief of Staff of Reed Cart was the founder of Haytosh Cover, he had no involvement in the conspiracy, and his authorization was forged so that covert activities could be carried out. Lieutenant Isanu Shah, commander of the JAG office in the Beta Quadrant, conducted today's cross-examination.
After an exhaustive cross-examination, we were able to discover that Colonel Danny Sullivan, an agent with Section 31, was responsible for moving the Khorasan fighters and securing the adaptive virus on Vrijheid.
In a surprise turn of events, however, recently appointed Chief of Staff Margaret McGowan was found guilty of espionage, high treason, and conspiracy to assassinate the President of the United Federation of Planets. She is currently awaiting transfer to an undisclosed Federation penal colony.
Miss McGowan, it turns out, was also operating under instructions from the Covert Organization Section 31, an agency that, while officially non-existent, has been responsible for widespread chaos throughout the Federation. Reportedly recruited in early childhood, she was a high-ranking source of information within political circles for almost 2 decades.
It is hoped that with further interrogation and investigation, additional conspirators will be identified and brought to justice. However, due to the extremely secretive nature of Section 31, it is doubtful that all those involved will ever be.
You've spent the last week watching that. Matt, it's time to move on.
I know. I just wanted to take one last look at the past before I look to the future. Our future.
Honestly, you did everything you could, Matt. You have to stop blaming yourself.
For what? Vindenpawl? Naliti?
If I only knew.
Captain, we're approaching the Terran system. It's time for the ceremony.
On my way. Are you coming?
No, I think me and little Matt need a bit more rest.
Little Matt, huh?
I'm not ruling out the possibility. Go on. We'll be here. I love you.
I love you too. Bridge.
The magnetic constrictors on antimatter pod number 2 degraded to critical levels, breaching containment and detonating the adjacent pods. The safety locks were prevented from functioning.
The Tal-Shiar virus corrupted the pod's environmental systems and raised the temperature in the constrictor housing, demagnetizing it. When the safety systems activated, the virus effectively ambushed those protocols and disabled the emergency antimatter injection system.
The virus's architecture was definitely Romulan. There was no evidence of any non-Romulan modifications. It was triggered by key Baratin flight control as Saffron approached Romulus.
Excellent work, Commander McCabe. Miss Onshul, your diligence has enabled us to bring those responsible to justice.
Reporting that former Chief of Staff Reed Cart and President Vindenpawl were found not guilty of any complicity in the assassination of President Saffron. Among the guilty are Colonel Daniel Sullivan of Vrijheid and the recently murdered Vulcan traitor Thotiris. Centurion Lormac and Chairman Darthus, both of Romulus, have been handed over to the Romulan Star Empire for disciplinary action. Most surprising of all was the guilty verdict announced against Chief of Staff Margaret McGowan.
Starfleet intelligence has had its eye on you for quite some time, Miss McGowan. Play the extract from the communications log.
I must admit that I'm surprised to be hearing from you this early. I didn't think we'd be...
You can drop the accent around me. We're ready now. The finger of suspicion is clearly pointed at Cart. The time is perfect for you to step in and take his place.
Are you sure that Vindenpawl will go along with it?
She'd be a fool not to appoint you. After all, you're her most trusted and senior cabinet member. It's guaranteed. Seafron's assassination caused the chaos we needed. Now, we will be just one step away from the presidency itself.
I stand ready.
It is hoped that in the coming weeks, we will know the names of all the co-conspirators and that justice will be served.
You could stay in the turbolift, but I think it would be more appropriate to hold the ceremony on the bridge.
Sorry about that. One last look back.
As of today, stardate 72534.1, let it be known that it is my honor and pleasure officially to hand over command of this vessel, Federation 1, to Captain Matthew Vance McCabe.
I relieve you, Commodore.
I stand relieved, sir. This ship is yours, Matt. Take good care of her.
I will. And thank you.
I present to you the President of the United Federation of Planets.
My friends, we come together today in the spirit of friendship and unity to begin a new era of cooperation, openness, and peaceful relations. I solemnly pledge to you my life and my service for the greater good of the United Federation of Planets and for all its people. It has been said that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Let us take that step together today.
This episode also featured the vocal talents of Robin Hirt as Commodore Patrick von Weiler, Sean Paul Teeling as Navigator Charles Finley, Brian Patrick Stoyle as Doran Onshul, Kyle Bring as Jag Commander Isanu Shah, Andrew Foster as Centurion Lormic and Decius, Sarah Maguire as Tara Abus, Carrie Mines as Fleet Admiral Valerie Watkin, Eric Busby as Agent Bishop, Alan Beatty as Admiral Francis Graydon, Barbara Nobes as JAG Commander Genevieve Farron, Andrew Kramer as Transporter Chief Neil Morton, Rob Caves as Comm Voice, Gregory Link as Announcer, and Michelle O'Neill as the President. Special appearance by Risha Denny as Admiral Elizabeth Shelby, Nick Cook as Captain Daniel Hunter, and David Reed as Commander Sakaris. Additional material written by Cameron Burton. Main theme by Daniel Chan. Additional music by Daniel Chan, Steve Gallant, and Hatoran. Senior editor and sound design by Michael Hudson. Editor and audio engineering David W. Hill. Technical advisor Jonathan Connor. Executive producers Rob Caves and Andrew Foster. Federation 1 is a Hidden Frontier production.